All right, everyone. Welcome back to PGL Bucharest Major 2018 SEA Qualifiers, Game 2 of Fnatic versus AGV. And as we let ourselves in, we're going to find Fnatic at a one-game lead in this best-of-3 series. Can AGV bring it back? That's what we're here to find out. I'm Baseskip, and joining me is Lumi once again.
Hello, thanks for having me. And looks like AGV still have not fixed their logos.
No, they didn't quite have time to. I think they're probably talking over the previous game. But we'll see. All right. Once again, going to stick to their guns, getting rid of this Tinker. Nightstock going to be banned, so still the same kind of overall story. This time around, Fnatic are going to be over on the Radiant. We find AGV over on the Dire with the first overall pick. So this time around, it is going to be Fnatic with last pick. See if that changes their drafting structure too much.
I would think most of the draft will stay relatively same, but also would not surprise me if AGV pull something out of the ordinary, because I feel like that's kind of what they need to do to give themselves a shot.
Yeah, I think that if they have something up their sleeve, this is definitely the situation to pull it out, right?
Yeah.
So Rays are going to be banned out. I wonder if that's going to lead into anything specific for Fnatic, or if it's just something that a lot of the carries that Envy does like to play, don't really play all that well against. In terms of position 4, which has been a little bit less contested this time around, I believe Earth Spirit was banned in the previous game, and this time around it's made it through. So I could see that.
Oh, all right, that's different.
Yeah, the bounty hunter. I mean, we've seen I think a couple of teams doing this. I mean, it is something that I think it's something that Fnatic have played a little bit of as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Is it LGD who are playing the offlane bounty hunter?
5 seconds.
Or someone in China is doing offlane bounty hunter. I don't know if they've done it recently, but that was a little bit ago. And Fnatic go like, ha. Yep, we're just gonna pick Tiny again because we were not convinced that you had any way to deal with it last game. So why not?
Good strat.
Yep.
Do what works.
Yeah. Force your opponents to respond, right? If you feel like they don't have any kind of answer to what you're doing, just keep doing it. Eventually, to get figured out, maybe down the line, but a pretty reliable way to go here. And they're going to be the ones taking the Omni this time around, so like quite strong lanes. AGV fire back with a Doom. So Doom bounty, pretty annoying. Can't put a lot of pressure on in the off lane. If you pick too weak of a support, they certainly have a lot of kill potential there. And I guess the Doom also potentially quite nice to have against the Omni if you can find him. Right, you got to get in Doom in before he has too much of an impact on the fight.
Yep. The laning might be a bit awkward. I guess Doom now is the designated off lane.
Yeah, I think so. I think the one thing that already stands out to me for AGV's lineup is that if they fall behind, they are just screwed.
I mean, that's kind of what we saw from the last time as well.
Yeah. But Bounty Hunter not going to play very well from behind. Fnatic. I mean, it's not the most 5-man centric lineup just yet, but it could become a very 5-man heavy lineup. And I think that AGV's heroes, just in general, don't really deal that well with that kind of really aggressive, in-your-face tempo push. I'm picturing Fnatic maybe even picking up another sustain hero, like something like a Dazzle for their 5. And then they just have oodles of sustain. They basically have no cooldowns that they're relying on at all. And they can just kind of 5-man the whole game. So we'll see.
I think Rubik is also not a bad go-to, like getting track, or if you get Doom, for example.
God forbid you get Doom.
I mean, even getting like something like Devour is pretty amazing, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's solid. And got to get that Scorched Earth Steel. Turn your aggressive null field on. Run some people down.
5 seconds remaining.
Not bad, actually.
Yeah. There's the stats. Okay, so Venge banned. It does seem like AGV are at least a little bit worried about some kind of something pushy coming their way, and Fnatic are banning out sort of split push slash deep push stuff that might be a little bit more difficult for their lineup to catch. The Monkey King and the Timbersaw. So Bane now grabbed, gives them a little bit more lockdown, a bit of setup potentially for something coming down the pipeline, depending on what that's going to be. But that does make this a very good Rubik game. You were talking about it for Fnatic, but it's certainly a good hero to have against Omni, very good against Bane, and not even that bad against Tiny either. So I like this Rubik grab, but again, maybe a slightly greedier Rubik pick, kind of like we saw in the previous game, where they had a position forward that needed to take up quite a bit of farm. Bounty Hunter maybe less so than Sand King, so maybe there'll be a little bit more room for the Rubik, but I don't really like seeing Rubik as a hard 5 all that much.
Oh, this is a great Slaughter pickup here, and this is, I guess, the carries? No, it's a position 4 Slaughter. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Slaughter being very good here.
I wish
it still can, actually. It still can be. Let's not count it
10
out.
seconds remaining.
I'm counting it out, but
he's secretly discounting
5
it, but
seconds
keeping the dream alive. Okay, so to me, it really looks like they're not that Tiny isn't great with repel and like working with amp damage, but I feel like Fnatic are really just missing that that hero that they're going to be enabling to no end, right? They're going to have some lane winning with the Bane. They're going to have the amp from the Slardar. They're going to have the repel from the Omni Knight. They've got some really good Roshan potential in there because of the Slardar. So they just need that Eternal Envy right-click hero to make use of all of that. What exactly
I don't know.
it's gonna
Seems
be, I'm
like
not
a
sure.
very good Medusa game, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Don't really care about being tracked or doomed. You just stand there and
Just
let them
right
come
click.
at you.
Yeah, that's very true. What else? Could this be an NVTB, do you think? I mean, it's a last pick, so if AGV don't pick up enough AoE, maybe we see something like that.
So Terrorblade is always a bit scary against the Doom. I mean, he's good against the Doom if you're being on the offensive, right? If you get off your Metamorphosis, if you get off the Manta and you split, and Doom just dies.
Yeah.
At the same time, you get doomed, then you're in a lot of, in world's pain. So I don't know. I think Dusa is just safe.
Yeah. What about Wraith King?
Oh, Wraith King is amazing, actually.
You down for some Wraith King? I'm down for some
Yeah,
Wraith
of course.
King. Yeah.
Always down for some Wraith King.
Yeah, gives them some more disables. Quite good with the Slardar. Yeah, I'm digging the Wraith King pick, honestly. At this point, someone message Envy.
I would, but he has 18 Smurfs, and I don't know which
You
one
just
he's
don't
on
know
right
which
now.
account he's on right now.
5 seconds
That's always the way.
remaining.
I saw people in chat mentioning that Abed's account doesn't have an active rank because it still has the thing where if you don't play enough, like 15 games in the last 30 days or something, you lose your actual rank. So you're just Divine 5 with no rank.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I guess he's busy playing like scrims and stuff.
Yeah, or he's on some Smurf as well because he can't find a game on his main account. I would also believe that explanation.
Dire team banned.
But all right, Invoker being banned out, which maybe I don't know. Maybe that gives a little bit more credence to the. I don't know if that. I don't know. I don't know what the Invoker ban is actually about. I was about to say something about the Wraith King pick,
10
but
seconds
it could be all kinds of things. You could read into it however you want.
I think it's more the fact that if you look at the AGV lineup, they actually don't have that much damage,
Team pick.
right? Like it's Inferno Blade and what Bashes and
right
Chrono.
clicks, yeah, from Void.
Yeah. So right now, the one pick that could give you the solution to not having damage is Invoker, and I think a secondary hero that could also give you that is Arc Warden, which
10
you know
seconds remaining.
requires a lot other things going great. Like you need an Arc Warden player, you need the proper
5
lanes
seconds
and all that
remaining.
jazz. But Arc Warden is a hero that could dish out a ton of damage, but it's gonna be a Dragon Knight. So I mean, like if you look at AGV's lineup, there's really nothing wrong with it. It's all like decent hero. Dragon Knight final pick is gonna give them a lot more disable and that tower pushing capability that you were pointing at that they don't have earlier. But to me, it's just like,
10 seconds remaining.
who's actually dealing damage? Can you imagine if Fnatic picks Stusa here? She's never gonna die.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's gonna be really difficult for them to be able to bring down Dusa. I guess the Dragon Knight is also okay here against the Slardar and the Tiny. He can build fairly tanky. The amp damage is not as scary for him. I mean, it still hurts him, but not going to be quite so troublesome. And that pick is going to be CK. Oh, that's
Sure.
That's interesting. Okay. So it works pretty nicely with the Bane and the Slardar. Their safe lane now has tons of kill potential. The ability to burst down the Doom or the Void is definitely very nice. And I mean, the AoE from AGV is not that amazing, right? I was kind of talking about it with the Terrorblade pick, but I feel like the CK kind of fulfills some of the same criteria and brings even more aggressive potential in the early game.
I think in this game, just looking at the different illusion hero, like you can even throw PL in the equation. Like Chaos Knight is the tankiest one by far, where even if he gets doomed, there's a very good chance he survives through the doom, especially with a little bit of help from Ohio. The big AoE is Dragon Knight. Like if Dragon Knight gets 18, or rather if Dragon Knight gets 20, then I can see AGV like kind of turn the tide around. And if you look at Fnatic's lineup, I think they're not really designed to go super late. I think this is one of those, let's close out the game in 25, 30 minutes kind of style.
Yeah.
And seeing the way that Fnatic played their last game, I would be super surprised if they can't close out the game in a similarly length of time.
Yeah, I really believe in their ability to kind of win the lanes and then just snowball the game from there. I don't really see the... Like, I don't know what Bounty Hunter's going to do now, because I feel like he's not going to have a super productive time like helping the off lane, helping the Doom, because I think they just die in that lane. But I also don't know if he helps mid all that well. I don't know if Dragon Knight is really a hero that, one, is going to benefit that much from the Bounty Hunter trying to zone in his lane, and he also doesn't really benefit that much from ganks, right? The Dragon Knight as a hero is very much, you plonk him in the lane, he gets the farm that he needs, he eventually takes a tier 1 tower. It's not flashy, it's not, he's not dominating a lane. He's just kind of doing his own thing, and it means the supports don't really have to help him that much. But in terms of where that leaves this Bounty Hunter's game plan, I do not know.
So in theory, you could actually kill the Tiny with Bounty and Dragon Knight. If Dragon Knight skills like stun at level 1, you get some very decent body blocking. It is a 0 armor hero, but if you look at Abed's item choice, he starts with Stout Shield and Ring of Protection. I think with that item inventory, like, there's actually no way he dies to that. That's DJ trying to force out a jump from the Void.
Yeah, doesn't want to waste the precious Slitherine Crush mana. Happy to just punch him down. Alright, Envy gonna come in, gets the bounty, okay with that. Meanwhile, Bounty Hunter does manage to snipe a bounty rune of his own. A little bit of harassment on Abed as he tries to make his way over towards the mid lane, but there is already some blocking going on from Pylai Dai, so it's not like he's gonna miss any of that advantage. One more swipe on Abed. He does use up another charge of the tree grab, but in the end, just a very slight block advantage to AGV as they have both their supports chilling around mid.
Alright, so interesting to see that Pi doesn't stay on the mid lane. Oh, by the way, this is like the best ward. I've first seen it from Puppy dropping it. Like, there's actually 0 chance that you get dewarded. Of course, you won't find their observer ward. You won't be able to make it across the river, but a lot of times Bounty Hunter players like to actually like kind of sit on this line and look for you.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very hard to deward sentry.
Yeah, I've seen the position of these sentries just like move further and further back against Bounty Hunter. I feel like at some point people were like putting it right on the hill, then people started putting it over here, and now it's migrated all the way back into the trees. Probably gonna cop some harassment here, but he's Bane. I think he's gonna be okay. Yeah, just checks out the brain sap. Has been nerfed. Does hurt him a little bit there. Bit of damage getting chucked onto the Bounty Hunter. Envy also just manning up, right clicking through the Doom. Very low
Jeez,
armor.
look at that.
Yeah, he's getting
I
chucked.
mean, low armor hero Doom just taking that full, right click damage from Chaos Knight.
Yeah, they have to be really careful because I feel like the The one thing about CK as a hero is that he doesn't farm very quickly. I mean, they've helped his farming a little bit with the lifesteal on Chaos Strike, and you can kind of leave your armlet on while you're moving around and whatnot. But if he gets a good start, this hero just goes ballistic, right? If he starts killing you in lane and you feel like you just can't contest his CS at all, then things get really scary. It's a really important feature of these carries that have their own kind of setup, right? Like the CK or the Wraith King. You often feel like you just can't approach the wave at all. For other heroes, you know, sure, if the supports are missing, you feel like you're a little bit safe, but against the CK, you never quite know if you're a little bit behind.
Yep. It's a very kind of non-traditional carry style where if you think of the prototypical carry, it's one that could hit creeps and get, you know, 4 or 5 items and carry late. But this is definitely a, you know, instead of farming creeps, I farm hero kind of carry, which is pretty rare.
DJ managing to come over and grab the bounty, and Grim's
Punch
actually
him.
in some trouble. DJ gonna keep on chasing. There's the lift. Throw him back. He's still sprinting after him. I think he just wants to force him all the way back to the tower. Might even consider using another crush here as he closes the gap just to do a bit more damage. Nope, just just shepherding him all the way back to the tower. He's just you go all the way back.
Once.
Yeah.
I think
Missed some value.
Yeah. That was just funny. I thought he was gonna punch him once or stun or something like that, but you know, just
gave him the move click. Just hey buddy, I see you. Go all the way back to the tower. Don't try and turn around and hit me, or I will hit you. But let him off with a warning this time. Across the board, Fnatic doing much better in terms of CS. Doom in a little bit of trouble, but Envy actually 0 points in Chaos Bolt at the moment. Just going for the Reality Rift. They're going to get the sleep. That's going to line up for another Reality Rift in a couple of seconds. They will manage to drag it off, but will that be enough? He's got the Thunderclap. That crit hurts bad, but Pilot Die actually maybe now the one in a little bit of trouble as they are getting burned down. A few more right clicks. Envy can't really do anything. Does now lay in with some auto attacks of his own as the Bounty Hunter is actually pretty much completely Envy going to cut him off with the pass with the jump through. Now the Reality Rift. Finish him, Envy! Oh my god. He got it. First blood for Eternal Envy. Fnatic already with a 2k gold lead and just crushing all the lanes.
that almost looked a little sketchy.
I was, but, you know. there was a moment there where I thought maybe Envy wasn't gonna get the kill. He just wanted to try and give it to Pi or something.
I do want to point out there's a little bit of different adjustment in terms of the skill build from Abed. Looks like he's actually leveling up on Trito. I guess he recognized he really can't. Oh, nice toss back and steals the regen rune. Okay, that'll see. I think he recognized he can't really just kind of like harass down with toss like he did versus the Quap. So there's no point to level up the toss. Instead, he goes for the true grab. Meanwhile, Ohio dies up top.
Yeah, just focus on your own farm, right? Because you're not going to drive the Dragon Knight out of the lane by just spamming spells, especially not a Dragon Knight with a bottle.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Bounty Hunter finally successful. Kind of finds the one lane where I think there's a little bit of vulnerability for Fnatic, where they can maybe find some kills. DJ still just farming up here. Doom struggling to come forward against the now level 4 CK. Envy 2 points up in the crit. Looks like he might actually be just, I don't know, skipping
0-4-4?
Yeah, skipping the Chaos Bolt entirely, maybe?
That seems, I don't know. I guess against a Doom, you could just walk in and harass. Inferno Blade.
Yeah, does have to
Look
back
at
up.
Damage.
Getting rooted. He's actually taking some pretty big harassment. I think he's going to be A-okay, but still losing like more than half of his HP. This is where the Chaos Strike comes in. Gotta get those crits. Gotta heal back up.
All right, there you go.
Helping a bit.
One crit.
This is where you just enable your crit hacks and only crit. Abed doing very well in CS mid, like you pointed out earlier. He's got the max hit trigger up coming up. They're gonna sleep up bottom. Couple more hits. Now they get the drag back into the stun. Doom, couple more shots will take him out. As Pilot Eye does end up securing the kill. And Bounty Hunter, all he can really do is just sit there and watch. Unfortunately, this Fnatic, I guess the thing about picking the Bounty Hunter so early is that Fnatic had a huge opportunity to just reinforce all of their lanes to the point where they're not really susceptible. And Pi keeps out-clicking E-Rice on all of these bounty runes. The last 2 times he's tried to contest it, he has not gotten it.
And then they're gonna kill him on the tower.
Yeah. 2-man crush, they don't know it. They will realize now DJ in some trouble, but will be able to sprint off to the side. Damage on the Doom. Does manage to scoot himself away. They get a hasted Pylai die. He's making his escape, but Eternal Envy might not be quite so lucky. He gets lifted back. The Dragon Knight does not have any mana. Does have some wand charges to work with. Envy relying on a save from DJ, and it's not actually just a save. They have managed to bait in the Bounty Hunter. Another kill for Pylai die. DJ looks like he might tick out. Let's get brought down. Envy trying to trade blows with the Dragon Knight, but he is quite tanky. Pi also throwing out a couple of cursory auto attacks here and there as they go for the Reality Rift. Envy is looking pretty crazy. Does get the crit to heal up a little bit now. Now he's Infernal Bladed. He uses the wand, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to survive Envy with a somewhat questionable play. Jumping in under that tower. Abed, meanwhile, just completely takes the mid-tier 1.
E-Rice going for the deny. But, of course, nice try.
Not against 140 damage. Anyway, you were saying about what happened bottom?
I think Envy, like, he looked at his wand charge, got 17, but really overestimated, or rather underestimated how many heroes were behind that tower. And got punished pretty hard there. To me, that was a pretty Bambo play, you know, like a high-risk, low-reward.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. He has just popped his ultimate down. The first Phantasm used just for a little bit of farming here. Cleans up some neutrals, gives the lane over to Pylai Die to get a pretty fast 6. I do like the Fnatic seems to be...
Ooh, that was really quick micro. As soon as it got hit, somebody was on point.
Yeah. Courier Shield, good to have it back. Bounty Hunter, get out.
I like the animation of the shield back in the Dota 1. You know, it's just like a nice clear bubble around the hero.
Oh, some bashes onto Ohio. There's going to be a Chronosphere as well. Can they finish him off? A couple more right clicks. The Bounty Hunter also helping out. Oh. And that last touch is going to do it. I think even if he got that purification off, it might have been... Oh, DJ was actually on the way in.
Yeah.
So it was
a really good chrono.
Pretty close run thing. Yeah, a very nice Chronosphere.
Bounty was able to hit from out. Within.
Abed wants to toss into the crush, into some right clicks, and that is going to be a very nice gank on the Faceless Void. It does bring a bunch of TPs with it. Tiny, the stun's not lasting all that long. DJ going to fight as they get the toss all the way back into the Dragon Knight. Slardar looks like he might be the one to drop, but so long as Abed survives, I think this is working out okay. Avalanche is going to end up getting dodged. Abed 1v3, but he does have the Omni Knight coming in, and that purification is going to mow down the Bounty Hunter. Dragon Knight trying to make his escape. Another toss forward. How's that purification cooldown looking? 1 more second. Does get Dragon Tailed. Ohio is going to be forced to use it just to save himself, but looks like he'll be brought down. A little bit of a dive too far. But still, Fnatic drawing a ton of heroes over the top, and Envy. Similar story to what happened before. Is going to be picking up a tower for free. Maybe the Bounty Hunter can get the deny this time.
Oh, no. That was a deny. And then they glyphed. What's happening?
The tilt. Well, I don't know if it's tilt necessarily, but just
somebody tried to min-max a little too hard.
yeah.
Glyphing at the very last second.
I guess maybe couldn't decide between do I glyph it and then go for the deny, or is that just going to give it to Envy? Do I have better timing than him? Who knows? But all right, Bounty Hunter at least finding some levels. He's got level 5, but as somewhat predicted, they are falling behind in terms of the map control already. It's unfortunate for the Dragon Knight that he's used 2 ultimates so far just for kills. He hasn't been able to segue them into a building. 'Cause that's a really big part of your gameplay as Dragon Knight, right? Is finding that, potentially finding the pick off into the tier 1 push and getting that extra gold flowing into your team. But
yeah, normally it's your teammates kind of pulling the mid laner around. And then allowing your DK to just keep breeding on that tier 1 mid. But instead, we see, you know, the Dragon Knight rotating, and like you mentioned, really haven't gotten too much done.
And meanwhile, Ohio is just also taking over top. What is it they found now? Poor Rubik. Gonna get crushed up. Right click down. I don't think they even need the course. He's gonna lob the tree at him. Yes, he will. Abed gonna grab the last hit as he does already have his Blink Dagger making its way out. Ohio are going to be working towards a drum. Lots of just early effective items for Fnatic as they continue to pick up the pace. A little TP out there from Doom, feeling threatened. toss. Abed with the harassment. Does he have the damage? Dragon Knight's pretty tanky. He also has a drum of his own. Tiny. Getting out of these disables relatively quickly. Does have another toss back. Can they finish him off? The DK is fast. They've now got the lift. Grim's closing the distance courtesy of that drum charge along with the track move speed, and Abed overextending just a little bit.
Yep. Meanwhile, they were able to take down the Void up top. Good use of the Fiend's Grip.
Yeah,
And of course, Purification for burst damage.
I mean, part of it is that they won the lane bottom super hard, but I feel like it is nice to see Fnatic giving Pi a little bit of priority in these games. Sure, it's partially because they have the wiggle room to do it, but always nice to see Pi having a little bit more of an impact as opposed to just being 0 and 20 and planting wards. Because he is certainly a good player, just doesn't always get the opportunity to show it off.
He used to show it off when he played Rubik and
Yeah,
I guess even Bounty Hunter, but now the Fibro is just not very glorious.
no, and he's certainly playing the 6 a lot of the time as well. Envy sitting right on top of this shrine. It's gonna pop it now. Fairly tanky, difficult kill, but they do have 4 heroes rotating their way over. He pops the Phantasm now. Can they figure out which one the real one is? Looks like they've got the track on it. Can he get off the Reality Road? Rubik might just die instantly. They do manage to get off the Doom. He doesn't have his armlet turned on, so it's not going to do too much damage. The Chrono now coming through. Ohio doing his best with the save. It's not going to be enough as Ohio awkwardly in the middle of all of this. The rest of the team now making their way over. DJ going to miff completely with the crush. Looks like he will just get right-clicked down. Potentially, no. Abed's arrived on the scene. Can he finish off the Void? Yes, he can. And now Pylai Die also on the case. DJ with the crush. Looks like they should be able to bring down the Doom. A few more right-clicks. Now the Fiend script getting laid down onto the Bounty Hunter. He dies in midair. And Rubik also not going to be able to find anything. He gets scouted out. He's got no TP. He's got a little bit of track move speed helping them out. But this 4-man gank onto the CK is going to end in disaster, as it looks like even Rubik will be chased down. 2 seconds on the blink cooldown. Tiny coming in. Is he even gonna... Is he just gonna like throw the tree at him? Don't use any mana. Oh, wait. The juke? They know he doesn't have a TP. He has to be in here. And yeah.
Alright.
Abed gonna put 2 and 2 together.
Oh. Alright, that's some BM, guys.
Should have canceled this clarity. If you're Rubik, I think you...
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you cancel that guy's after he threatens you and then doesn't actually finish you off. You're like, your clarity's donezo.
You fable him for, you know.
Yeah, it's just for the. Yeah, you gotta
message.
You gotta spite cast your spells, right? That's how. Oh, he didn't have any mana, but you gotta do everything you can, drag them down with you. That's how Dota is played. But all right, Abed. Yeah, it's a nice little. This is a nice spawn for him, actually. Just combo this down quickly. Meanwhile, Pylai Die gonna go and grab that regen. Is opting for the max nightmare this game. I guess the Enfeeble is useful, but maybe not as useful this game as it is in some other situations. So
I mean, it's so good at reducing damage, physical damage, and honestly, SGV don't have too much of it to begin with, so I feel like any point of Enfeeble he picks up will just be
they toss
down
in the Slardar. They get 2-man crush. They don't know about the Bounty Hunter just yet, but they will soon. Now they pop the Dust. Fiend's Grip immediately on the Void. Didn't even have the Chronosphere available. No counter initiation potential there. They will steal the Grip and end up trapping DJ underneath the tower. Nicely played by the Rubik. Very difficult if you're Bane to cover your Grip since you're just standing there channeling. So, all right, bit of a turnaround. Not exactly an amazing trade, but it was at least a track kill, right? So that helps. A little bit extra gold flowing in. Envy's just been hitting creeps this whole time. Other than the time that he got ganked and died, that's pretty much been the story of his game. Feels like in a lot of ways he's just kind of playing as the insurance policy, right? If his team needs him, he'll be huge and be able to come and take over the game. But until such a time, I think Ohio and Abed are doing just fine by themselves. Pi is going to spot the Bounty Hunter coming forward here. Is that going to be enough to save him is the question. He's on the run. Can they close the gap? They're going to look for a lift or anything, but nope. Pi sitting on top of his sentry is going to save him. Oh, and now Abed just straight in. Wombo combo. Can he finish the bounty? Pick up a tree? Throw it at him maybe? No. He'll survive. Meanwhile, Dragon Knight just working on a Shadow Blade. A little bit of a, I guess, just feeling like they need more initiation, but potentially a surprising pickup against the Slardar. Not always
Is there
ideal.
any good passive that he could break? Not really, right?
No, not really.
I guess it's just kind of like a nice combination of an initiation item, but also one that helps you farm and you know, do a little bit more damage in the fight. Because that is still my major concern. How much damage can AGV output in an actual fight against this lineup?
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up during the draft, right? And asked for mentioned the Invoker as a potential pick. So he definitely needs to do some damage this game. He can't just be the front line for the team. They are going to throw a Fiend Script out into the Tiny. It's not going to last that long, though. He will get lifted immediately afterwards. The lift also not going to last that long, but Rubik's got 3 stuns to bring to bear. And so they will be able to bring down Abed. That Fiend Script steal coming in big once again. Now down bottom, they're going to drop the Chronosphere out onto 2. They have lost the Doom. What can they actually find? Bane. He was repelled up, but still going to be chunked down. And now the Omni Knight in trouble. Track kills all over the place, and the double damage from the Dragon Knight coming in big.
Fnatic's not careful. Like, this track could just bring them back in the game. They're rushing.
Where is music playing? What is happening? I got a tab open somewhere. Alright, there you go. But yeah, they do have to be careful. The track is certainly something to be afraid of. And like you said, for Fnatic, their game plan is like win this game in 25-30 minutes, right? If it goes super late. It's not necessarily
it's not to say that they can't scale. In fact, all of these heroes are pretty decent late game. It's just that they won't. I don't think they will be as strong as AGV's hero in the late game. Especially just match up against each other.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said as well, they made a kind of a conscious decision in the draft to pick the CK instead of like something like the Dusa that you mentioned, right? Which is also also a pretty stable pick. I think would have worked quite well in this game. And if they just wanted to kind of grind it out, I feel like Fnatic could have been quite comfortable going for that. But they do get that Roshan. CK popping the Phantasm. You might be seeing a very dead Doom in a second. Now you see him. Now you don't. He's gone. DJ with the blink coming in big, and Envy now ready to start pushing the team forward. It looks like finally kind of coming online. Didn't take him that long. It's only been farming for the last 18 minutes, but ready to join the team.
It's because he has the Aegis. Once the Aegis time's out, back to farming.
Yeah, it was like the previous game as well with the Monkey King, right? He got his Battle Fury. He went and hit the safest creeps on the map for a little while, and then once he got the Aegis, he was ready to kind of rock and roll. It's interesting how the style has changed for Fnatic again after the addition of Abed, right? When we were casting at the Major League, they still had Excalibur on the roster, and Envy was playing some weird stuff like Batrider and whatnot to try and make space. We do get the dust on the Dragon Knight, but won't be able to find him with the Avalanche. And now it seems like Envy's back to kind of playing the hard farming role, and Abed's on the run around and do stuff, which seems to work pretty well for them. Got a quick pause coming in.
Here's the dangerous thing that AGV is at, right? Like, they don't have enough damage to kill the CK Illusion. If they lose a fight and the CK Illusion is alive, they lose strikes. Straight up. So,
yeah.
They need to... Here comes the flank. I really like this play. Fight them out the base.
Yeah,
Try to catch a Slardar with the +1 in it.
Yeah, that is the ideal. They've also got a Shadow Blade on the Void. Going to be looking to lead in just a second. They've got the DK Ultimate pop. They're going to be looking for the initiation here if they can find it. Pilot die, taking some big damage. Abed diving in pretty deep. Not actually all that tanky. They are going to toss the Void away from him. Who can they actually find now? Ohio's getting tossed through. The Doom's gone out onto the Slardar. Envy just getting kited around in circles somewhat as they do now find that 2-man Chronosphere that you were talking about. The right-click damage is there, and these are going to be track kills galore. Abed trying to re-engage to help out Envy, but it looks like he'll just have to settle for the Rubik kill as Envy gets chain CC'd. The Aegis not really doing anything for him at the end of the day, and AGV just annihilate them. That wraparound was perfect.
Yeah. I definitely think that Fnatic was not expecting that. I think from their perspective is like, okay, we're gonna do a standard high ground pressure kind of situation. AGV is gonna stand behind their towers and twiddle their thumbs, but a very good call by AGV to come out and play. and they were rewarded handsomely.
Yeah, the vision situation for Fnatic not as good there as you know, it was in the previous game. They didn't really see the rotation coming, and I think the big thing as well is that the Slardar was up here and the Tiny was down here, and they just couldn't find any way to link up and like immediately burst somebody down for counter initiation. The fact that the Void managed to avoid being caught was a really big deal. Alright, so Fnatic, I mean, back to the drawing board somewhat, but they know that the Chronosphere is on cooldown now for at least another minute, so they're just going to line up a smoke. They do have Ohio showing top to make this a little bit less suspicious, as the 3-man smoke rotation will make its way through over towards the wards. They don't just want the Rubik. They would love this Void if they could get it, but he's actually just waiting down on the low ground. The toss into the Avalanche. He's got the time walk. He's going to be okay. DJ still chasing. Does have a dust ready to be popped. As now the Dragon Knight going to start initiating onto Pylai. I don't think he's going to be able to survive. Actually, nice 2-man crush into the Brain Sap. They're also going to pop the Omni Knight ultimate just to try and save him. Eternal Envy jumping forward. Will be able to start laying into the Dragon Knight. He's taking so much damage. He gets brought down. The Doom able to run away for dear life, but DJ still wants to continue the pursuit. Does he have a crush coming up soon? Yes, he does. Envy also hot on his tail. The Reality Rift is going to be there in a second, and he's just gone. Void forced to now jump all the way into the fountain, and a little bit reminiscent of the previous game with Fnatic diving very deep for some kills here. The tier 2 tower is still standing on mid.
Oh, they're going on the bounty. Reality Rift, that's a kill. Oh, the Chrono didn't hit!
The Chrono's empty, it's only got an illusion, and now Void, he's silenced up. He's also dead. They're just killing them under their tier 4s. Triple kill for Envy. He had a bit of a lackluster fight with the Aegis, but there you go. Shortly after that, gets the team. A lot of that enabled by DJ, of course, but they clean him up. So at this point, AGV, what? No Chrono for 90. What do they have left? I guess they need another good wraparound, good initiation. They do have initiation items in all 3 of their cores now, so they do have pretty good ways to lead off a fight, but they really need the Bounty Hunter to somehow scout for them, for that to work out, right? You have to kind of see the lay of the land and then get the right initiations. Because I guess what, the Doom kind of has to go out on the Omni or the Slardar, and then they can maybe Chrono the CK or something like that. We'll see. Envy's tough to bring down at this point. He's got a BKB as well, so not just relying on the repel.
Meanwhile, Bounty is constantly scouring enemy woods, hopefully looking for like a Cory to pass by or something like that, but little does he know, he is missing. He is dropping some deep wards, which honestly, I don't think he will be able to take advantage of those wards. I feel like this game is going to be played on the dire side of the map.
Yeah, I like that Fnatic aren't even really farming their own jungle, right? They're content to just kind of lock AGV out of the dire jungle and keep all the lanes shoved at all times. Abed with the toss forward, blinking out to keep pace with the tree. Okay, so they're gonna, I mean, Dire team managed to take up a little bit of residence down on the bottom side of the map, but maybe that paves the way for Fnatic to pressure the high ground a little bit more? Or do you think they just wait for another Aegis here, and that's going to be...
I think they wait for another Aegis. They probably could go right now and take a laner Rax, but there's no point to take anything risky.
Yeah, and they're farming up some pretty important defensive items as well. The Tiny picking up a Lincoln Sphere, CK also queuing one up. His level 18 going to be very impactful as well in terms of finding that Phantasm level 3. I mean, we've already seen how much damage Envy can do with the number of illusions that he already has. So it's only going to get scarier. Well, they are hoping for something down bottom. They want this Abed Tiny, but he's not risking anything. And Void team perhaps just a little bit too far away to really take advantage of that initiation, unfortunately for him. I guess what, they're also probably afraid of the shrine. They don't want mass TPs to the tier 2 and the shrine, and then the fight getting turned around on them. Highlight eye with the casual buckler. It's a bit of a puppy special.
Yeah, it's one of the most kind of gold to stat efficiency items. So
Yep.
Envy leading the charge for the team.
Yeah, he's going to be the first one up onto the high ground. The smoke's going to break. They know that the bounty hunter is here. They get the sentry ward down. Can they get their reality rift back? They will. Drags him out of the avalanche, but it doesn't matter. He just gets obliterated. There's a double damage waiting outside of Roche. The Void really wants this. He's going to be able to grab it up, but again, the problem is that his team just isn't with him. The Dragon Knight's getting driven away as he's already been amped up. DJ is going to get hit by the Dragon Tail. DK popping his ultimate as they will be able to throw out the Chronosphere. It's a really nice chrono, but what is it actually going to end up doing is Eternal Envy now comes around the corner, shreds the Dragon Knight, looks towards the Void. Can they finish him off? He's got the time walk, manages to make it over towards the secret shop, but it's not far enough away. Dragged back into Eternal Envy's waiting arms, along with all the other CKs, and they tear his head clean off. Meanwhile, Ohio is just the fastest Omni Knight that I've ever seen, with his Yule's drum. I feel like I haven't even really seen Ohio that much in this game, but damn, he's fast. Envy posting the Roshan timer in all chat. All right. I'm sure that's not intentional, but anyway. Bounty Hunter joining the casual buckler club, but not by choice. He would love some Guardian Greaves, but looks like not going to be given that opportunity. Mid lane gets cleaned up. Shortly after that, Rack's also going to be taken down, and with no Chronosphere up, even with the Void respawning, it's not really going to do anything. This AGV just watch their base crumbling around them.
No Doom either.
Yeah, it's hard. No DK ultimate. They've got those initiation items, but not really anything to do with it. Void even just gonna come pop the Mask of Madness to clear out the mid wave. That's how you know you're in a sad spot. It's just like, alright, let them have everything that they want. Hopefully we still have some kind of base left to defend once the Chronosphere is back off cooldown in 30 seconds time.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Lincoln's not so effective against the track, but still helpful, at least somewhat, I suppose, forcing the Bounty Hunter to just keep spamming it on the Tiny. Alright, where's that chrono? 7 seconds time. Void coming through. Nice blink away from Abed. Sensing that the Spirit Vessel is a sign that they are going to be looking for initiation. The Doom not really going to get off anything. He's just waiting there, slept. Now the Dragon Knight, they do manage to get the Chronosphere out onto a couple, but Omni Knight is very tanky. I don't know if this is going to be enough. Can he get his ultimate off? Not quite able to. Get stun locked into submission. Now Abed able to tank through somewhat. Envy popping off the BKB. Doesn't have the Phantasm for another couple of seconds. Still laying in with the right clicks. Will be able to finish off the Void. Now the Bounty Hunter on the retreat. They do have the Doom in 3 seconds. Dragon Knight, he's already been amped up, and I think he's about to disappear into the horde of CK Illusions. The toss back. Abed setting up Eternal Envy for the Beyond Godlike. Triple kill. Fnatic just kind of taking all the style points that they want at this stage of the game. Omni Knight kind of dying for their sins as DJ now going toe-to-toe with Doom over in the river. Doesn't manage to get his blink up. Tries for the TP out. Gets tossed. Does he get this kill on Abed? There is a shrine available. He's going to be okay. And one more swipe. Does in the Doom as Envy just finishes off the game over inside the base.
No call, GG.
Nope. Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess talking things over, but you can call GG and do that as well. Who knows? Maybe there's some weird time rating that I hope I hope there's no time rating situation in the qualifier rules. But there you go. Fnatic gonna take the win. Gonna take the series. GG called after all is said and done, and Fnatic really just looking like the better team. I think is as far as I can tell.
Yep, they just rotate much better. Just knowing, which lane is important. SGV did make a pretty kind of surprising turn of event when they did their first smoke wraparound play. They quickly identified that they need, at least a 3-man chrono to have a shot, and that's kind of what happened during that fight. So think AGV is showing quite a bit of promise, but today it's going to be Fnatic taking the day, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, they're making some decent qualifier runs at the moment, but we still have to. Still remains to be seen what events they're going to be able to make it to out of SCA. It is a pretty, I would say, a reasonably difficult region at the moment as far as qualifiers go. We are going to have some more games for the Bucharest Major SCA qualifiers coming up, though I believe we have about an hour and 10-minute break until Boom versus Execration.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So we are starting in an hour and 10.
Yeah. So stream will probably be down for a little bit, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Congratulations again to Fnatic for their win. We'll be seeing more of them as the qualifier continues to unfold over the course of the next couple of days, but we'll see you in about an hour's time for Boom versus Execration. Hopefully catch you then. Here you go, guys. If anyone wants to see the final score screen, etc., here you go. Nothing too shocking. Relatively even early on. Fnatic take off. Envy, slow start, good finish with the 13 kills. Was, as we saw, a little bit set up by Abed with that toss back on the bounty hunter. Could have taken the kill for himself, but being the team player that he is. So that's going to wrap it up for this series, guys. We'll see you for the next one in about an hour's time.